Out of the year 1989, that's sure. And if she could turn back time. And we're going to turn back time a little bit here because we're going to have a chat with Bev Malzard, who's here as the president of the Australian Travel Writers Society. Bev, welcome into the studio this morning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you have, when I say turn back time, we're going back because you have been here on a couple of occasions before.
Yes, I came here about 15 years ago and I came on my own to do some travel stories. That was the first time, and it captured my heart. And then I came back about 6 years ago for a country and western festival.
Oh, okay.
With another writer, and that was fantastic. We had fun that weekend. And then I arrived on Friday.
Okay, so which particular cap are you wearing on this visit?
Two, actually.
Okay.
First of all, I'm as president of the Australian Society of Travel Writers. We have committee meetings, about 8 a year. And occasionally we're hosted by areas outside of Sydney and Melbourne, and we'll kindly, your PR people and Tourism Bureau here invited us here. And it's a two-edged sword because we get to come here and have our meeting and do all our business, but with 6 travel writers, we'll go away have various streams to write stories about what's happening here. And so I'm doing that, but today I'm editor of Get Up and Go magazine.
Oh, okay. And that's published where?
It's published in Sydney. It's a national magazine. It comes out 4 times a year. We're a glossy magazine, and we are for the 50-plus, I call them grown-ups.
Okay.
And, so I'm that person today.
All right. And in the current issue, does Norfolk feature?
No, it doesn't, but it'll be featuring heavily in our next autumn feature. And I do a lot of social media. I have a newsletter, a Facebook page and a blog. So over the next 2 months, Norfolk will be popping up on that.
Okay, and what do you like so much about Norfolk, or what can you see anything that's changed since your first visit with us?
I think generally what hasn't changed is the hospitality, and there's such nice people here, genuine. But what has changed is the accommodation has become more polished. I stayed at a lovely place. Can I mention where I stayed?
Yeah, well, sure.
Okay, I stayed at the Islander place up on top overlooking Kingston.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
And just brilliant. No, why would I go anywhere else? And we've all, because there's 6 of us or 8 of us, we've been spread out in different accommodations, so we can check everything out, and everyone's very pleased with what they've seen. But there's that polished side of the accommodation. The food's improved. We've had marvellous meals, and you've cottoned onto something very important, is good coffee. So I take my hat off to all the people who are making brilliant coffee here. Yeah,
all the writers seem to enjoy a good cup of coffee, don't they?
I know. Look, we're such coffee, and it's not just me and my little gang. I think Australians have become coffee snobs because we have such good coffee here. Yeah. And we're very demanding.
Yeah. And the other group that's with you, are they all male, female?
No, it's a gaggle of girls.
Okay.
We have only one man currently on our committee who is our finance. He does all the finances, but he's travelling, which a lot of us do. Often we all can't come together because we're travel writers and someone will be away when we have a meeting. Yep. So, we have a freelance writer from Canberra. We have a freelance writer from Brisbane, a freelance writer from the Hunter Valley in Sydney, one from Melbourne, and we have our PR executive who's on the committee who has come along and is very impressed with Norfolk too.
Yeah, so for the others, it's their first visit?
Yes,
yeah,
everyone's
okay.
First. One did a flying trip here once on a Famil, but it's basically first, and everyone's thrilled. You know, we were with a woman down at the museum at Kingston yesterday, Linda, and we didn't want to leave her. We didn't want to let her go. She was so interesting and passionate about what she was talking to us, and we're intrigued. There's so much history we don't know.
Yeah. And tell me, like, in what you do and what you see and where you go, is there anything else that we need to be doing, or do you think that could make us more attractive to the traveller?
Well, I mean, the point of difference here is the pace of life. It's lovely. I quite haven't slowed to island time yet. I'm a bit manic. I need a couple more days, but that is the joy. Things like the golf course, seeing that. I mean, where else would you play golf? So
beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I just think it will develop a bit more. You don't need a lot of bells and whistles on a place like this. For someone like me, better Wi-Fi, but no, that's not something that can be fixed up. Because, it's interesting, people who are travelling, we don't want to work while we're travelling, but even the baby boomers who are coming away for a week or so, they're carrying iPads now, and they're writing to their friends, their kids, their relatives about their experience. And the more, I think, Wi-Fi is accessible, that's word of mouth. That's where a lot of your, people are going to say this is a great place.
Yeah.
So it's an important sort of area.
So the old postcard, it's pretty much run its course, do you think?
I think it has, which is a bit sad.
Yep.
I'm a bit old-fashioned. I tend to buy them wherever I go, and every now and again just send out a postcard. And I think I might get a bit of a campaign going on the magazine's Facebook page, like everyone send out a postcard once a week, just to say hello to somebody.
Yeah.
Because it's still a thrill to get one in the mailbox, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's just a matter of us getting the story out there somehow,
Yeah, it's engaging people to, just tell them what's here, what's available, and you look at different markets. Like I'm writing for the 50-plus baby boomers. These are people who are fit, who've got time, a bit of money to spend. They might want to play golf. You've got the cultural side of things here. Bushwalking and that beautiful beach area, and the history. You've got all these layers of history that people are interested in. Baby boomers, we all came from a good education, so we do know a bit of history. But, being at Kingstown yesterday, there's stuff I didn't know. I knew about the Sirius going down, but when we got the story, if Captain Phillip had decided to send everyone back to England, I wouldn't be here, and you probably wouldn't be here.
No, absolutely. No.
Australia wouldn't be happening.
I couldn't imagine me getting on a ship going to England. Not even now. And, Bev, what sort of circulation, what numbers do you have with the magazine?
We print 28,000 4 times a year, and when we work on an aggregate of how many readers there are, and there's normally 3 readers to 1 magazine, so we're over 90,000. We do newsletters, blogs, so we've got a lot of exposure out there, and I also do a couple of radio programs or interviews when the magazine comes out in Sydney with a couple of travel programs and talk what's happening in the magazines, competitions, just to extra service the readers, get people more interested.
And in what areas of Sydney would that be? With the radio?
It's all over the eastern suburbs, and that's... and I do 2GB, so that covers the state most of the time, and a couple of times I've done the ABC, so, yeah. I'm a media slut.
You couldn't have said that 20 years ago.
I know. I don't think I'm leaving today anyway, so no one can arrest me.
And, Bev, so... have you had a look at, the sporting facilities and things like that we have here on the island? Because we've got some great sporting facilities here, and that's why we have a lot of international events from tennis to gun shooting to golf, netball.
I know, there's so much happening on such a small place.
Yep.
I have another, not quite a hat, but more like a little cap. I work for a company who also publishes a magazine called MiceNet, and MiceNet is probably Australia's most successful and most prominent magazine for business travel, events, conferences, conventions, incentives, all that sort of thing. And the last time I was here, I was writing for that market.
Okay.
So I was looking at places where you had big areas to hold grand events, who could put on such an event, who comes here, what sort of associations have their meetings here. And the island would suit a lot of people, in the naturalist field, or it'd be a fantastic place for corporate retreats, because this is, you want your staff to chill out, they're going to chill out here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There has been the odd one or two, but it just didn't seem to get off the ground.
And it's strange because it's only 2 hours from Brisbane, or less from Brisbane, isn't it? And Sydney, it's so close.
Yep.
It's an area I think would be great for the island to develop, because you've got lovely... normally conferences, you've got a couple of days where you bring in speakers, you've got great accommodation, quality accommodation for the sort of people who attend that high-end conference. You've got a golf course, you've got good food and catering facilities and lots of attractions. So I think that's a market that could develop quite strongly here.
Yeah, sure. Bev, I'm sorry I'm going to have to cut you short. I've got to go to a morning cereal here right now at 10:30.
Oh, no, I love it here. I want to stay.
Hey, look, it's been great to have you on Island, in particular into the studio with us this morning. We do appreciate you giving us your time, and well, we look forward to you doing your best to sell us out there in the big world.
Well, I certainly will. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Bev. That's Bev there, President of the Writers Association over there in Australia, here on her third visit, and great to see her back here on Island with us. But right now at 10:30, it's time to take our morning cereal, coming our way courtesy of